Olympic horses keep their cool, and veterinarians in Florida are working to find out how an equine disease thought to be eradicated from the United States nearly 20 years ago has suddenly popped up again. I'm Ryder, news editor of The Horse, your guide to equine healthcare. Welcome to the Ryder Report for August 19th. The equestrian events of the 2008 Olympic Games will wrap up on Thursday, August 21st. By now, the Swiss dressage team might be feeling pangs of regret at its decision not to participate. While the Swiss cited concerns about heat and pollution in host city Hong Kong in their decision not to come, the Games have thus far proved to be a mostly pleasant surprise for those involved. Although heat was at the top of the organizers' watch list, it's turned out to be a pretty cool affair considering. The barns are climate controlled, and so is the indoor arena that riders use for schooling. None of the competitors we interviewed have ever seen another horse facility with AC anywhere in the world. Additionally, misting tents spray horses down with water chilled to 43 degrees. They produce an ultrafine spray to help produce efficient cooling even with Hong Kong's high humidity levels. You can come along for a tour of the Olympic stables at Article 12531 on thehorse.com. The riders we spoke with are also giving the footing rave reviews, waxing poetic over the drainage system that allowed them to ride 5 minutes after a typhoon had passed. You can read more about that at Article 12524 on thehorse.com. Of course, you couldn't get more than 200 elite horses together in one place without something going wrong. Several competitors have had to withdraw for various veterinary reasons. Dr. Jack Snyder, the Game's chief treating veterinarian, has wielded his surgical instruments twice. He reports that both equine athletes who have gone under the knife are recovering well. In the first case, a Swedish event horse named Keymaster fractured his first phalanx on cross-country. Dr. Snyder operated, inserting 4 screws to stabilize the hairline break. The 15-year-old gelding is now in a cast, and he'll be shipped home with the show-jumping horses. Snyder said he expects Keymaster to be pasture-sound at the very least. In the second case, a Brazilian show jumper came up lame a few days before the start of the show jumping competition. Snyder found an inflamed bursa in a rear leg. The injury, which is relatively minor, had the potential to worsen if the mare were stressed, possibly even leading to an injury of tendons or ligaments. With big shows coming up later in the season, the decision was made to withdraw and treat the injury. Given the prompt diagnosis and swift treatment, Snyder said he fully expects the mare to be completely sound within 45 days. From veterinary and competition reports to blogs and photos, there's much more available on the equestrian events at thehorse.com. Do a keyword search for Olympics to find the full collection of articles. Florida Agriculture and Consumer Services Commissioner Charles Bronson announced August 15th that a horse in Manatee County, Florida has been diagnosed with equine piroplasmosis. The United States has been considered free of equine piroplasmosis since 1988. Piro is a blood-borne parasitic disease primarily transmitted to horses by ticks or contaminated needles. The disease was eradicated from Florida in the 1980s, and the tick species believed to transmit equine piro in other countries have not been identified in Florida in many years. The investigation is ongoing to find the source of the disease, which was confirmed in a 7-year-old gelding that was euthanized after having been sick for 3 weeks. State officials have quarantined the premises on which the horse resided, as well as 2 adjacent properties. There are no equine movement restrictions currently in place in Florida, but horse owners are being asked to watch for ticks and to alert their veterinarian if they believe their animals might be ill. Piroplasmosis can be difficult to diagnose since the parasites cause a wide variety of clinical signs, including acute fever, lack of appetite, anemia, jaundice, poor exercise tolerance, and sudden death. The disease can be fatal in up to 20% of previously unexposed animals. Recovered horses can be chronic carriers while showing no clinical signs. Do a search for keyword piroplasmosis on thehorse.com for more information. The 70th Annual Tennessee Walking Horse National Celebration starts this week, and exhibitors will be scrutinized in more ways than ever before to ensure compliance with the Federal Horse Protection Act and Tennessee anti-soaring state laws. The new strategies expand the event's operating plan from 2007 to include pre-performance tack inspections, specifically to detect pain-causing foreign objects hidden beneath girths, and eye screenings for the presence of atropine. Use of this drug, which dilates an eye's pupil, is thought to make horses step higher in order to compensate for their limited vision. Random barn inspections, drug screenings, hoof inspections, restricted access to inspection areas, and other measures will carry over from the 2007 plan. Keep an eye on thehorse.com for reports on the show, which takes place August 20th through 30th in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Finally, this week we have a happy story on which to wrap up. You might remember Elmer Bandit, the 37-year-old competitive trail horse who's closing in on a lifetime official mileage record. Well, last weekend he came 60 miles closer to surpassing the record. And what's more, Elmer not only completed the ride, he and owner Mariana Wood came in second place in his division. Elmer ticked off many of those miles in the gear that Mariana calls Turbo Trot, an 11.7 mile-per-hour trot that eats up the terrain. He even popped over a jump-on course just for fun. Elmer is scheduled to compete next on August 30th at the Nebraska National Forest Competitive Trail Ride. That's it for this week's Ryder Report. Visit thehorse.com for all the latest news on equine healthcare, management, and welfare. I'm Ryder, news editor of The Horse, your guide to equine healthcare. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.